Hello, my wonderful people, my viewers all over the world. Good morning to you all, and I welcome you all to this station. This is Obonga Station. The name now Okute Daily Talk. In case you never hear my voice before and you're wondering, please, you are highly welcome. If this is your first time of hearing my voice, I still remain your one and only Okute. I never change, and my voice never change. Now, so I still be you. I just land like Land Rover. I'm landing from Bangladesh. Even on my brother, Peter will be. So, my dear friend people, this news now for all of us now and all of us concerning this struggle, please listen attentively. If you are not subscribed, please endeavor to do that anytime soon. Please, before we proceed with other formalities, hear this breaking news. Biafra, the Institute for Economics and Peace should be aware that wrongful tagging is insufferable and the consequences immutable. According to this news, and even the headline itself, the thing off me completely. We are begging who they write this big English. No, just use this English, suppress me. We have another one here. Breaking news, my dear people. IPOB accuses Supreme Court to compromise and connivance with the federal government to prolong and deny justice to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This one is coming from the Biafran broadcasting. And this is a Biafran press release, in case you are wondering who is the writer. The writer, na comrade, Ima Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB in general. If you support, make I hear your thumb up. If you no support, say him be, waiting talk say him be, I beg, drop it at the comment section. We will treat every comment the way it comes. If you come with abusive, my brother, be ready to collect woto. If you come in peace, we also will reply you in peace. That's all the thing be. Because the way when I just be this time around, my dear, now for eye for an eye, you, and nose for nose, mouth for mouth. I beg you, beg God don't kill me. Now joke I do, beg will just go straight into the business of this day. Touching your seatbelt because we are about to take off. We, the global movement and the family of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, led by the great liberator of our time, Mazi Nnamdi Okuchukwu Kanu, are deeply concerned about the lack of progress in the matter before the Supreme Court of Nigeria concerning the continued unlawful detention in DSS custody of our leader, the indigenous people of Biafra, Onyendo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. People are crying out. But to me, if you people should listen to me, I am a prophet by my own side. May we just wait. After this election, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be freed. That is what my spirit told me to tell the masses. I am not a fake prophet, but if you will agree with me, it must surely happen. Go and judge it somewhere. Today's date is what? Today happens to be the 23rd of month of February in the year of 2023. So make we just wait. After the election, 1 week after the election, you will see that the everything about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it shall be a past tense because he will be freed to join the other members of the family. You get the point now? Listen and listen attentively. The delay, the neglect, failure or refusal by the Supreme Court of Nigeria for more than 3 months now and accounting to fix a date to determine the appeal before them pertaining to the extrajudicial rendition and unlawful imprisonment of Mazi Nnamdi Okuchukwu Kanu raises doubts and questions as to whether the Nigerian Supreme Court has made itself complicit and a willing tool in the hands of the Nigerian government to delay and therefore implicitly deny justice to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It should be recalled that the Nigerian Court of Appeal in Abuja had on 13th day of October in 2022 discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu of all criminal charges laid or leveled against him by the Nigerian government in the Federal High Court at Abuja, and barred the federal government from further prosecuting him in any court in Nigeria rather than obeying the orders of the Nigerian Court of Appeal. The federal government of Nigeria ran off to the Supreme Court of Nigeria on appeal, according to the news. In what seems to be a connivance between the Supreme Court and the federal government of Nigeria to continue the unlawful detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Supreme Court has refused to fix a date to hear the appeal before it. Notwithstanding the fact that a gross violation of the fundamental human rights of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has taken place and continues to take place with his continued unlawful detention at the Nigerian Gatsepo Secret Police, the DSS. Also, the deteriorating health condition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention seem not to be of enough concern to the Supreme Court of Nigeria or a cogent reason to expedite hearing on this very case that has assumed importance to international community. Which international community, I beg? Name them. The ones that have come and say, hey, make leave Mazi Nnamdi Kanu 6 months. So it have gone to 8 months now since the UN Working Committee said something about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case. After all due diligence, the Hamburg hang on. Are you trying to fight for somebody who is not even fighting for himself? That's exactly the point. Now that's why they ran. Yes, now, because if they are trying to fight for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, what happened to Simon Ekpa, who is out there even making the matter so worse for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by commanding the sit at home 5 days, 6 days? Very soon now he will tell all the Easterners that you people have to stay at home for completely 1 month, and they will mumuli and foolishly obey him. That is the how poor that the brains of our Easterners, I mean the Igbos, have fallen to. But yet we claim to be wise men. Of course, wise men came from the East according to the Bible. But our own East, I don't know whether our own East no there for Bible. Whether there another book of all these pastors. I don't understand. As it is presently, the federal government of Nigeria is in contempt of the orders of its own court by continuing to unlawfully hold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in DSS solitary confinement, according to Imam Powerful, the comrade. This abnormal and worrying conduct of the Supreme Court of Nigeria has raised concern that the court is either in connivance with the federal government of Nigeria to continue the unlawful detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu contrary to the orders of the Nigerian Court of Appeal, or the Supreme Court has been intimidated by the cabals within the Nigerian government into denying justice to an innocent man. IPOB has observed that the Nigerian judiciary, being the third arm of government, is not adequately and rigorously exercising its constitutional mandate in the dispensation of justice to the common man, who look up to the judiciary as their last hope. This delay by the Supreme Court in hearing the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu just opposed with the concurrent actions on other less important cases before it, as such as the old Naira notes case, which the Supreme Court had ex parte and had a substantive matter within a week or so later, leaves the Biafran people and the discerning public with the only probable conclusion that the Nigerian Supreme Court is being controlled by the forces outside the judiciary. The judiciary in Nigeria is an equal and independent arm of government that ought not and should not be controlled by the executive of the legislative arms of government. The failure and or refusal of the Supreme Court of Nigeria to act expeditiously on the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu therefore presupposes that the administration of the court are taking instruction from the presidency and its political cabals before dispensing justice to Nigerians. It is instructive not to know that the same court, the same Nigerian Supreme Court, that is now dragging its feet in hearing the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has presided over some cases that are now threatening the peace and security of the southeastern Nigeria. Specifically, it is the Supreme Court that ignited the consuming fire of impunity, destruction and properties and livelihood of citizens, burning of market insecurity of the highest order, and the mass murder in Imo State, and through the imposition of Hope Uzodinma as the governor of Imo State. Hope Uzodinma had been totally rejected by Imo voters and population, such that Mr. Uzodinma came a distant fourth in the governorship polls in the state. However, the Supreme Court of Nigeria, with their magical abracadabra, made Hope Uzodinma the governor of Imo State by accepting nearly 400,000 fabricated, false and fraudulent ballots that the electoral umpire INEC confirmed were not cast during the elections it conducted. The Supreme Court similarly presided over the Ahmed Lawan case, in which the current Senate President, who never contested in the APC primaries elections, was declared an APC senatorial candidate for his constituency by the same Supreme Court justice. Mostly recently, the Supreme Court created national confusion in the currency swap policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria by allowing themselves to assume original jurisdiction in a matter that was supposed to come under the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court of Nigeria. The Supreme Court leadership and administration have been bamboozled by undue interference, possible blackmail, and probable corruption inducement by the executive arm of government, the same government fighting its own self. If our assertions based on what is going on with our leader's case is anything to go by, it means that the Nigerian government now governs the country in like manners as the Taliban of Afghanistan, Idi Amin of Uganda, and Hitler of Germany, where every arm of government are held hostage by tyrants in power. Gone are the days when we say, when we can say that the courts are the last hope for a common man. That the days have gone by. It's not this time around. This slogan is now history in Nigeria due to the flagrant disobedience to court orders by the lawless Nigerian Federal Government of Nigeria and the inability of the Nigerian judiciary to ensure that our court orders are obeyed by government and its officials. This news is coming from Emma Powerful. We are watching the Supreme Court of Nigeria, which incidentally is a constitutional court, to redeem its battered image on the case of the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, which appeal has been sat on by the leadership and administration of the court for more than 3 months and counting. This is more than 3 months that a discharged and acquitted innocent man has continued to be held in unlawful custody in ill health while the Supreme Court looked the other way, according to the news. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has a choice to either legitimize, legalize, and institutionalize extraordinary rendition, which is an international crime, or to be uphold the rule of law by bringing to order the lawless and reckless executive arm of government led by corrupt political cabals. The men and women of the bench have the chance to demonstrate to the world that Nigeria is not a pariah state by promptly dispensing justice that is globally acceptable, or sink Nigeria's battered image further into the pit of infamy and disrupt. The world and the international community are watching Nigeria in the presence of a failed state, according to the news. The case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has come to challenge the courage and independence of the judiciary, particularly the Supreme Court, and most especially the constitutionality and very foundation of Nigeria. This news is coming all the way from who? From Comrade Emma Powerful, Media and Publicity Secretary for IPOB in general. Hashtag Free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and hashtag Biafra Referendum 2023. We take CMO. Another news here is with us. Biafra, the Institute for Economics and Peace, should be aware that wrongfully tagging is insufferable and the consequence is immutable. I beg you, beg God, follow me laugh, because this one is laughable. The headline is not the news. The blood of Biafra flow in Nigeria, according to the hashtag they have here. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably founded and led by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, have one goal. This goal is the total emancipation of Biafra from the British enclave called Nigeria. Since inception, there is never any confusion about the pro-democracy nature of IPOB, giving the movement's instance on the conduct of a United Nations supervised referendum for the Biafran people. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, through his broadcast on Radio Biafra, has meticulously been educating the world community, drawing their attention to the myriad of man-imposed suffering bedeviling the Biafran people. He sets up Radio Biafra to prevent gaslighting, and cognitive warfare against Biafrans, just as he encouraged every Biafran to embrace freelance journalism, an effort to prevent others from telling our story with half lies or without the truth at all, according to the news. They like the British Broadcasting Corporation (BBC), the propaganda arm of 10 Downing Street, told against the Biafran people, left an indelible damage for which the Biafran people are surviving through sheer ingenuity. For memory refreshing and record purposes, the 1965 election in Nigeria threw up a political disagreement in the Western region. Earlier disagreement in action group between the leader Obafemi Awolowo and the deputy leader S.L. Akintola degenerated into an uncontrollable fiasco that devolved into a political firestorm. The Prime Minister Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was accused of picking sides before a military coup d'etat of January 15 of 1966. Major Chukwuma Nzogwu, an Igbo officer, led other officers who are mostly non-Igbo, including Fulani, Kanuri, Yoruba, Ijaw, Hausa, etc., to a coup that unfortunately resulted in the death of the Balewa and others. However, the British government, through the BBC Hausa service, spun off what was clearly a military interruption into the tribal hatred of Igbo people in a particular and Biafrans in general. The BBC spread the hate speech and disinformation non-stop until so many Biafran people, including pregnant women, children, and elderly, died in a pogrom, and another over 3.5 million in a genocidal war that subjected over 2 million Nigerians, 2 million children or Biafran children into starvation, according to the news. The Institute for Economics and Peace, IEP, is aware of the above fact, but also choose to play the ostrich. The IEP is headquartered in Sydney, Australia. Their mission statement indicates that they aim to create a paradigm shift in the way the world thinks about peace. In other words, they prefer to create an illusion of peace by monetizing peace to the highest bidder. This they will do by projecting a victim of, to say Fulani herdsmen, violence is an aggressor for not having the capacity to give economic incentive while portraying the killers as victims. It is very much the same way the World Economic Forum is leading the world to socialism by lying on their website with a false claim of pursuing an improved world economy, or the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change parroting democracy and ignoring human rights abuses as if democracy is not simply measured by the respect for human rights, according to the news. These fake think tanks are proven to be nothing but partisans establishment for purpose of spraying propaganda against the indigenous people of Biafra. In this case, the indigenous people of Biafra, a direct consequence of their ill-intended disservice to humanity, is a total loss of influence over time, according to the news. A case study is the apartheid of South Africa government that is now dead and only remembered for academic exercise. The apartheid South African government wrongfully tied Nelson Mandela and the African National Congress ANC, a terrorist organization, and jailed Mandela. The apartheid, the South African government, was under the control of white minority referred to as Boer with Dutch, German, and French ancestry. At some point, when the world decided to wake from slumber, the needful was done. Mandela regained freedom while ANC became a national party. The unavoidable consequences for the apartheid government was a natural death. Recently, the new Speaker of the United States of America House of Reps, Representative Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, and others, and members of his party passed a resolution to remove Rep. Ilhan Omar, Democrats, Minnesota, from her Foreign Affairs Committee assignment. Ms. Omar was taken to the USA as a child from the war-torn Somalia, but the American dream has transformed her into a congresswoman. Rep. Ilhan Omar made anti-Semitic tweets by labeling Israel government an apartheid regime and claimed that the American Israel Public Affairs Committee in influencing U.S. Congress by offering money to members, a claim rejected by even members of her party. Israelis and or Jewish are indigenous to their land. It makes no sense to accuse people defending themselves from foreign invasion as apartheid, just as it makes no sense for IAP to accuse IPOB of masterminding the killing of the people they have taken bullets from, demanding their freedom. Any reference to the Jews as apartheid was intended to water down the savage treatment black passed through in the hands of the Boers and to put Israel in bad light. She even displays her disdain for American by listing U.S. government together with the terrorist organization like Hamas, Hezbollah, etc. Her removal from her high-profile committee assignment is a reminder that wrongfully tagging is insufferable and consequences are immutable, according to the news. Well, this Oyibo, I go to use them until the team master me, because this is a very big grammar. The leadership of the indigenous people of Biafra in her rebuttal to IAP wondered why the organization did not mention the Fulani herdsmen. Even with all the chronicled massacre they left across Nigeria, that they neither called out Nigeria, Kenya, and United Kingdom government for the extraordinary rendition of a British citizen of color. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu not criticized Nigerian government for refusing to heed the advice of the United Nations Working Group on arbitrary detention, which advised an unconditional release and compensation. Tells you all you need to know about these people. The IAP could not demand answers for why a discharged and acquitted man by the Nigerian Appeal Court is still being tortured by the Nigerian Government Department of State Service, DSS. Instead, the IAP is dabbling into frivolities, as made clear by IPOB. The IAP is a constant nosedive that will lead to irredeemable oblivion. That is one of the consequences of their ill-fated action and foolishly being under the control of woke progressively white elites who sees everything as business. This one is written and directed by Chibuzo Daniel, and the one that edited this is what? For the Family Writers Association, August CS Madabuchi. So, my good people of Biafra, the lovers of freedom, this is the news I just brought for us today. It might be a longer one, but please take your time to listen to it and make sure you digest it, share it with your family and folks and friends and neighbors so that they may have idea of what is happening and what we have brought to the table for this Thursday morning. Now here, I just carry my kaya and I go ahead and go so. If you have not subscribed to my channel, endeavor to do that anytime soon. Make sure you turn on the notification button so that you will be notified each time we go live or we post something new on this channel or any other channel related to Okute Daily Talk. If this is your first time to hear my voice and you are still wondering who is here, I, Okute, this is Obonga channel where we speak you the undiluted truth about the Biafran struggle and about the country called Nigeria. Have a nice day and have a nice time. May the Almighty Chukwuka bless us all, the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. I am signing out. Bye bye for now, Omunnem Kemesiano.